What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more acid-trance, and we're back with another tune from Kinetic A.T.O.M. Indeed, we're back with Future Wax 14, which is Kinetic A.T.O.M's first release of two. I mentioned it before, they were a trio. One of the guys, Timo Maas, I know from other releases under his own name, whereas the other two guys, one guy named Andy, one guy named Martin, I don't know much about their work, but it's quite likely that they produced under other names as well. But yeah, we're going to listen to Borg Destroyer. I mentioned it when I reacted to Possible Trigger. Kinetic A.T.O.M, the atom part is a acronym, but I don't know what atom stands for, so we're just going to go with it. I think it's probably just stylized. Regardless, we're going to listen to Borg Destroyer. This tune not only is a sort of darker, wicked acid trance kind of tune. I first heard it, I think, as part of a mixtape from one of the Frequency 8 guys. I think it was Mystery, Mars and Mystery. There are two DJs who sort of like, you know, kind of made their name up in the San Francisco Bay Area. They ran Frequency 8 Records, which I think was like a proper record shop first, and then they started like releasing records like as a label, Frequency 8. I don't know how long they both stuck around the scene. Bottom line, I was down in the LA scene, so there were, you know, other DJs, you know, like Thomas Michael and Huggy and Ganesh and a number of other trance DJs that were playing some of the kind of stuff that I was interested in down here. But I definitely remember thinking, like, man, like, I wish Mars and Mystery would play down here, because they play a lot of acid trance. Now, they called their mixtapes and eventually the releases that they put out, like, cyber trance. Was kind of sort of the stylistic label they put on it, but it was basically acid trance, and a lot of the tracks had like notable acid, and you know, they were mixing like Time Unlimited, like Nostrum tunes, and so basically, you know, Noom tunes and the like. So bottom line, it's, you know, the hard trance, the acid trance that I love, but again, they just called it cyber trance. So out of respect to that, and given that I heard this, I think first on a mystery tape, we'll call it cyber trance for the sake of this reaction. But yeah, it samples Does This track by Kinetic A.T.O.M. Whoopi Goldberg's character in the Star Trek series, The Next Generation, I forget her character name. I think she was supposed to be like an alien who's actually like super old. But yeah, again, I didn't watch this series closely enough to remember her name or exactly her function. I think she was like the bartender on the, was it on the Enterprise, or was she on like a space station? I think she was on the Enterprise, right? Oh, that's right, because in the Generations movie, which, you know, you can say whatever you want about the film, but I do remember she plays a part in that because she knows Malcolm McDowell's character, and like, oh, I know who that is, like whatever, because they're both like 1,000 years old or something like that. Anyway, it quotes her character. I don't think it's from that movie. I think it's from like the actual show, rather than that film. But yeah, so it's, you know, Borg Destroyer is sort of like it's a phrase that is deliberately set within the Star Trek sort of, you know, creative universe as it's used in this track. So yeah, bottom line, let's get to it. This is 1996, Kinetic A.T.O.M and their tune Borg Destroyer, which again samples Whoopi Goldberg. Or will, if it ever starts. I've never seen this long at the beginning of a record. Like, what the fuck? It's that, like, tribal hard trance drum where you can, like, just imagine someone, like, on a hillside just busting it out. I do like that little tom roll. Like a triangle, sounds like someone picking up some like
the Borg destroyed my world.
Metal tools.
My people were scattered throughout the universe. We survived, as will humanity survive. As long as there's a handful of you to keep the spirit alive, you will prevail, even if it takes a millennium.
I know a lot of good tracks with rhythmic acid snarls. This is one of the meaner ones. It's fast, right? For default, again, it's 96, so this is what we were doing, but I do like that deep pulse. Also notable how like loud and clear the clap is. I love that. And the second one is in time with that.
Every nuance, smell, sound, perfect accuracy.
Which again, like, it's working on a similar theme as the flip side of the record. Like, in this case, recreating, like, the experience of reality to fool your brain, but I do like that chopped up staccato, like hard trance synth line. It feels like normal hard trance synth line that got like, it got mutilated, and those are like, you know, sort of the stripped down remains in a good way. So I guess that's how we kill the Borg, with sound, or destroy the Borg. So it's a long build-up, but it's not like, it's more like eccentric and like creative. It didn't feel like a cheap long build-up. Rocky dude. It's like the acid snarl is like, it's like the same snarl but sharp. Sort of like hazy, misty pad. Ugh. Forgot about this section. This feels like it could be like Mandela or like Commander Tom stuff. That little acid flourish right before the break. I love it. This is all that eccentric 90s structure, like, it's not cookie cutter. Progressives had its own radio
scattered throughout the universe. We survived. As will humanity survive. As long as there's a handful of you to keep the spirit alive,
It's a great
you will prevail.
double dropping with this on the way out as your new track comes in. Perfect. Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's debatable which one of the tracks on this record is better. Again, Impossible Trigger gets the nostalgic boost in my estimation. But yeah, like as much like of a, that notwithstanding appraisal as I can, maybe this track is like, 1% better. It's a really good track, and again, it's fast, it has a sort of like darker, like edgier sort of acid trance feel. Yeah, just the top tune. Shout out to Kinetic A.T.O.M. Again, I'd be interested to know if anyone's familiar with the work by the other two guys, not Timo Maas. Again, I think several of you who know techno and trance will know Timo Maas, but yeah, like I said, it seems like Kinetic A.T.O.M was a very short-lived trio, but yeah, the record that I have is very good. I am interested about the other one. Now, it's interesting though, because I have the Color Box record, and the track from the other release on Future Wax I don't like nearly as much as either Kinetic A.T.O.M or Borg Destroyer, so yeah, maybe I wouldn't like the second release on Future Wax as much, but at some point I would like to get it. It's one of those things, like, if you're into so many labels and different styles and whatever, like, my want list on Discogs is huge, so, I'll probably die before I get through everything in the want list, but bottom line, it is in there, so at some point I might have more Kinetic A.T.O.M to talk about, but until then, let me know what you think of this tune. I will see you next time. Peace.